Hey fans, if you're new to our channel, don't just watch till the end, join the family by hitting the subscribe button and turn on your notifications, so you never miss any of our videos. Trust me, you don't want to be the last to know. Alright guys, something is really going on in the Nollywood industry that I am here to share with you. Do you want to know? Alright, then sit back and watch till the end as we talk about the trending in the industry. Guy, have not heard that the internet nearly broke when screenshots started flooding social media showing what appeared to be an official message from Donald Trump himself, addressing two of Nollywood's brightest stars. Fans across Nigeria and the diaspora rubbed their eyes in disbelief, refreshing their timelines over and over again, wondering if this was some elaborate joke or if reality had truly become stranger than fiction. How did a billionaire American president even know about Sonia, Uche and Maurice? Had Trump been secretly binge-watching Nollywood movies at 3 in the morning instead of sending tweets? The questions multiplied faster than likes on a viral post, and what happened next would send shockwaves through the entertainment industry that nobody saw coming. Sonia Uche is on set, deep in character, tears streaming down her face as she delivers an emotional monologue that would make even the hardest heart melt. The director is about to call cut when suddenly her phone starts buzzing so violently it nearly dances off the table. At first, everyone ignores it because professionalism, right? But then the assistant director's phone starts buzzing. Then the cameraman's. Then literally everyone on set is pulling out their phones with expressions that range from confused to absolutely gobsmacked. Sonia finally breaks character, grabs her phone, and her jaw drops so far it practically hits the floor. Someone whispers, "Is that really him?" And the entire set erupts into chaos that would rival any Nollywood dramatic scene ever filmed. Meanwhile, across town, Maurice is having a completely different experience. He's chilling at home, probably scrolling through Instagram and liking photos of jollof rice, when his phone pings with a notification that seems too ridiculous to be real. Maurice, being the skeptical guy he is, immediately assumes his fellow actors are pulling an elaborate prank. He's seen enough behind-the-scenes mischief to know that Nollywood stars love a good joke. He actually calls up one of his colleagues and says, "Very funny, which one of you created a fake Trump account to mess with me?" But when his friend swears it wasn't them and tells him to check if the account is verified, Maurice's confident smirk slowly transforms into an expression of pure shock. The prankster had become the pranked, except this wasn't a prank at all. Trump's message was vintage Trump, if you know what I mean. None of that diplomatic, carefully worded political speak that makes you need a translator to understand what someone actually means. No, this was pure, unfiltered, superlative-loaded Trump communication. He allegedly wrote something along the lines of this being tremendous actors, and the absolute best talent Nigeria has to offer, and probably threw in a few "believe me" statements for good measure. Reading it, you could practically hear his voice in your head, complete with the hand gestures and everything. Nigerian fans started creating parody videos within minutes, imitating Trump's speaking style while praising their favorite Nollywood stars, and the content was comedy gold that had everyone crying with laughter. Now, the timing of all this is what makes it even more interesting. Word on the street was that Trump had been exploring ways to strengthen cultural ties between America and African nations, particularly in the entertainment sector where Nigeria's influence has been growing exponentially. Nollywood has been quietly conquering hearts across Africa, the Caribbean, and even parts of Europe and America where African diaspora communities have introduced others to these compelling stories. Could it be that someone in Trump's circle had briefed him on the soft power potential of engaging with Nollywood's biggest stars? Or had the man genuinely stumbled upon a Sonia Uche and Maurice film during a late night and thought, "These people are fantastic, I should reach out"? The mystery only added to the intrigue. Sonia Uche's response to the message was everything you'd expect from someone who carries herself with grace both on and off screen. She crafted a reply that was warm, appreciative, and diplomatically perfect, thanking Trump for his kind words while smoothly weaving in references to Nollywood's incredible journey and its growing global influence. It was the kind of response that made Nigerians proud because she represented the industry with class while still maintaining her authentic voice. Her publicist probably wanted to frame that response and hang it on the wall because it was textbook perfect in how to handle unexpected international attention. Meanwhile, screenshots of her reply were being shared everywhere with captions like, "This is how you do it," and "Sonia Uche for Minister of Culture." Maurice, being Maurice, couldn't resist adding his signature humor to the situation. His response allegedly included a cheeky invitation for Trump to consider making a cameo appearance in an upcoming Nollywood production. Can you imagine? Donald Trump showing up in a Nollywood movie, probably playing an American businessman who comes to Nigeria and gets caught up in some dramatic family saga involving land disputes, secret children, and maybe a village elder with mystical powers. The internet went absolutely wild with this idea, with screenwriters joking about what such a movie would be called and fans casting the entire production in the comments section. Someone suggested the title, The Billionaire and the Village, and honestly, that would probably break box office records across 3 continents. Nigerian Twitter, as expected, absolutely lost its collective mind. Within 30 minutes of the news breaking, multiple hashtags were trending simultaneously. People were creating memes faster than you could refresh your timeline. There were photoshopped images of Trump wearing traditional Nigerian attire, videos of people doing dramatic reenactments of how they imagined Trump watching Nollywood movies, and think pieces analyzing what this meant for Nigeria's cultural diplomacy. The debates were fierce and hilarious in equal measure. One camp insisted this was brilliant publicity and a sign that Nollywood had truly arrived on the world stage. Another camp was just confused about how this even happened. And then there was the group that was simply enjoying the absurdity of it all and creating comedy content that had everyone in stitches. But wait, because the story gets even more incredible. Just when everyone thought the excitement couldn't possibly escalate any further, news broke that His Excellency Donald Trump had extended an official invitation to visit him at the White House. And he wasn't just inviting Sonia Uche and Maurice. No, the guest list had expanded to include some of Nollywood's most respected names, the legendary Mummy Nancy, whose motherly roles have made her a household name across Africa, and Ruth, the multi-talented actress, producer, and screenwriter who has been instrumental in creating some of Nollywood's most compelling content. An official White House invitation to Nollywood stars. If someone had predicted this scenario a year ago, they would have been laughed out of every group chat in Nigeria. The invitation reportedly arrived on official White House letterhead, complete with the presidential seal and all the formal trappings that come with such a distinguished summons. Imagine being Maurice or Sonia Uche, opening your mailbox or email and seeing that presidential seal staring back at you. These are actors who started their careers in an industry that often struggled for basic production equipment, who worked on sets where special effects meant creative camera angles and pure talent. Now they were being invited to one of the most powerful buildings in the world, not as tourists, but as honored guests of the President of the United States. The symbolism wasn't lost on anyone, and the emotional weight of this achievement hit differently for everyone who had been part of Nollywood's journey from humble beginnings to global recognition. When Mummy Nancy received the news, sources say she screamed so loud that neighbors thought something terrible had happened and came running to check on her. But it wasn't distress, it was pure, unadulterated joy. This beloved veteran actress, who has played the mother figure in countless films and has become a real-life mother figure to many in the industry, was being recognized on an international platform. She reportedly called all her children immediately, her voice shaking with emotion and pride, telling them about the invitation. Mummy Nancy, who has given so much to Nollywood and asked for so little in return, was finally getting a moment that celebrated her contributions. Fans who heard about her reaction were crying happy tears right along with her, because if anyone deserved this honor, it was this woman who had poured her heart into every role. Ruth Kadiri's reaction was characteristically strategic and forward-thinking. As someone who isn't just an actress but also a successful producer and content creator, she immediately began thinking about how to maximize this opportunity for the industry's benefit. According to insiders, she started planning how to document the visit, what messages to convey about Nollywood's potential, and how to use this platform to open doors for future collaborations. Ruth has always been about building sustainable structures in the entertainment industry, not just chasing momentary fame, so her brain went straight into business mode. She was already envisioning documentary footage, behind-the-scenes content for her YouTube channel, and potential meetings with American production companies and streaming platforms. This wasn't just a photo opportunity for her, it was a chance to be a bridge between two entertainment powerhouses. The Nigerian entertainment industry's response was nothing short of euphoric. Colleagues flooded social media with congratulatory messages, celebrating this as a collective victory for Nollywood rather than just individual achievement. Directors who had worked with these stars shared throwback photos from early projects, talking about how far everyone had come. Producers discussed how this kind of international recognition could attract more investment into the industry. Even actors who might typically be competitive were genuinely celebrating because they understood that when Sonia, Maurice, Mommy Nancy, and Ruth walked into the White House, they were representing everyone who had ever been part of a Nollywood production. The rising tide lifted all boats, and this was potentially a tsunami of positive attention for the entire industry. Social media creativity reached absolutely legendary levels during this period. The memes were instant classics. Someone created an entire series showing the four Nollywood stars photoshopped into famous White House photographs throughout history. There was Maurice standing next to Abraham Lincoln. Sonia Uche sitting at the resolute desk in the Oval Office. Mommy Nancy in the White House kitchen teaching the presidential chef how to make proper jollof rice. Ruth Kadiri in the Situation Room, apparently solving international crises with the same strategic thinking she brings to her film productions. Each image was more hilarious than the last, and the creativity on display reminded everyone why Nigerians have a global reputation for having the funniest internet presence of any nation on earth. Fashion designers across Nigeria saw their moment and seized it with both hands. Within hours, multiple high-profile designers were reaching out to the invited stars, offering to create custom outfits for the White House visit. The vision was spectacular, traditional Nigerian attire that incorporated American formal elements, creating a fusion that would honor both cultures while making a powerful fashion statement. Designers were sketching agbadas with subtle stars and striped accents, talking about girlies in red, white, and blue color schemes that still maintain Nigerian aesthetic sensibilities. This wasn't just about dressing for an important meeting, it was about cultural representation at the highest level. What this forward to the White House would be analyzed, discussed, and remembered for years to come, and Nigerian designers were determined to make sure the world saw African fashion excellence on full display. Maurice, ever the comedian, told journalists that he needed to start practicing his handshake immediately. He joked about watching YouTube tutorials on proper White House etiquette, learning which fork to use at fancy dinners, and making sure he didn't accidentally sit in the wrong chair or call someone by the wrong title. His humor belied a genuine concern shared by many. How do you prepare for something this significant? Maurice mentioned taking crash courses in diplomatic small talk, though he admitted that his natural charm had gotten him this far, so maybe he should just be himself. Fans loved his down-to-earth approach, with many commenting that his genuine personality was exactly what made him perfect for this opportunity. No need to become someone else, Maurice being Maurice was more than enough. Sonia Uche took a slightly different approach, reportedly hiring an actual protocol coach to ensure she understood all the diplomatic niceties required when meeting a sitting US president. This wasn't about being fake or putting on airs, it was about respecting the significance of the invitation and representing Nigeria properly. Sonia wanted to understand everything from proper greeting protocols to appropriate conversation topics to how to navigate what would undoubtedly be a highly structured and carefully orchestrated visit. Her attention to detail and commitment to excellence in this, just as in her acting, earned her even more respect. People appreciated that she was taking this seriously while still maintaining her authentic self. The goal wasn't to transform into someone else but to be the best, most prepared version of Sonia Uche possible. Mommy Nancy's approach was perhaps the most endearing of all. In true motherly fashion, she announced that she planned to bring Donald Trump some authentic Nigerian treats. We're talking proper jollof rice, the kind that starts arguments about which West African country makes it best. Chin chin, those crunchy, slightly sweet snacks that are absolutely addictive once you start eating them. Maybe some puff puff, perhaps some plantain chips, and who knows what else from our kitchen arsenal. The idea of Mommy Nancy showing up to the White House with Tupperware containers full of Nigerian food was so perfectly on brand for her that the internet collectively adopted her. Americans with Nigerian friends started joking that this was the most Nigerian thing possible, bringing food everywhere regardless of the setting. Trump's staff was probably trying to figure out security protocols for homemade snacks while Nigerians were already debating whether Mommy Nancy's jollof rice would convert the president into a Nollywood fan for life. Ruth Kadiri's strategic mind was already 3 steps ahead of everyone else. She publicly stated that she intended to use this White House visit as an opportunity to pitch ideas for cultural exchange programs and discuss potential American investment in Nollywood productions. While everyone else was thinking about the photo opportunities and the bragging rights, Ruth was thinking about sustainable industry growth and long-term partnerships. She was preparing talking points about Nollywood's economic impact, audience reach statistics, streaming platform potential, and co-production opportunities. Ruth understood that this invitation was a door opening, and she was determined to make sure the industry walked through it fully prepared to capitalize on the opportunity. Her business acumen was exactly what Nollywood needed in this moment, someone who could translate star power into concrete industry advancement. The anticipation building across Nigeria and the Nigerian diaspora was unlike anything the entertainment industry had seen before. This wasn't just about celebrity worship or stan culture, it represented something deeper. For decades, Nollywood had been fighting for respect and recognition, working with limited budgets but unlimited creativity, telling African stories when the world insisted that only Western narratives mattered. Now, 4 of its stars were being invited to the seat of American power, not as novelties or tokens, but as recognized talents whose work had reached the highest levels of international awareness. Young actors and filmmakers across Nigeria were watching this unfold and realizing that their dreams weren't just fantasies anymore. The path from a Lagos film set to the White House was apparently real, and these 4 were walking it right before their eyes. In communities across America where Nigerian immigrants had built lives while maintaining connections to home, watch parties were already being planned for when photos and videos from the White House visit would emerge. People were already planning what they would wear to these viewing events, preparing special foods, and creating group chats specifically dedicated to discussing every detail of the visit when it happened. This was diaspora pride at its finest, that feeling when your culture gets recognized on a global stage and you feel personally validated by proxy. Nigerian restaurants in cities like Houston, Atlanta, and New York were preparing special menus for the occasion. Hair salons were booked solid with people wanting to look their best for the watch parties. The cultural significance had transcended the individuals involved and become a collective moment of pride and possibility. Critics and analysts were already writing pieces about what this meant for soft power and cultural diplomacy in the 21st century. Nollywood's influence had been growing quietly but steadily, with films streaming on platforms worldwide and African stories finding increasingly diverse audiences. Some commentators noted that this White House invitation represented America recognizing Nigeria not just as an economic partner or security ally but as a cultural force whose entertainment industry commanded genuine respect and attention. Others discussed how this could open doors for other African entertainment industries, pointing out that when one African nation's creativity gets recognized at this level, it creates pathways for others to follow. The geopolitical and cultural analysis was flying fast and furious, turning what started as an entertainment story into a broader conversation about global cultural exchange and Africa's rising influence. So here's where we are. 4 incredible Nollywood talents are preparing for a White House visit that seemed impossible just weeks ago. Sonia Uche, Maurice Sam, Mommy Nancy, and Ruth Kadiri are about to walk into one of the world's most famous buildings as honored guests, carrying with them the dreams, hopes, and pride of millions of Nollywood fans worldwide. They are preparing their outfits, practicing their protocols, planning their pitches, and yes, packing some jollof rice because why not? This moment represents decades of hard work by countless people in an industry that refused to die even when resources were scarce and recognition was limited. It's about validation, representation, and the sweet satisfaction of seeing your culture celebrated on the biggest stages. What happens next? Well, that's the question everyone's asking. Will this White House visit lead to concrete partnerships and investment in Nollywood? Will we see more cultural exchanges between American and Nigerian entertainment industries? Will Trump actually try Mommy Nancy's jollof rice? And more importantly, will he like it enough to tweet about it? Will Maurice Sam's dream of getting Trump in a Nollywood movie somehow actually manifest into reality? The possibilities are as endless as they are entertaining. What we know for certain is that Nollywood has arrived on the global stage in a way that cannot be ignored or diminished, and these 4 stars are carrying that torch with grace, humor, strategic thinking, and authentic Nigerian flavor. Now it's your turn to be part of this historic moment. Drop your comments below and tell us, what advice would you give to Sonia, Maurice, Mommy Nancy, and Ruth before their White House visit? What Nigerian dish do you think Trump should absolutely try? And most importantly, if you could pitch one Nollywood movie idea that Trump should star in, what would it be? Don't forget to like this post, share it with every Nollywood fan you know, and subscribe so you don't miss any updates when the actual White House visit happens. Let's show the world that Nollywood fans are the most passionate, creative, and supportive community in entertainment. Drop those comments, hit that share button, and let's celebrate this incredible achievement together.